right, all right. This is You Can't Make This Shit Up. We are your political innovators. Joel Hawksley, David Washington, your hosts. We are Jay in Washington, and this is the Jay in Washington Network. And we're going to talk about the planned consolidation of the judicial circuits here in Florida, or maybe not. Joel.
Oh, we've talked about this one already.
Yeah.
Prior episode, we should probably have previewed that one. No, we've talked about this one, but it looks like the Supreme Court had put together a panel or a group of people to look at this consolidation, and their recommendation is going to be a big no. So it looks like, even though the Speaker Renner, wanted this to be come to fruition, it's not going to get the recommendation. So we'll see where it goes from there. Just because the Supreme Court, has had a recommendation, does that mean that the legislature still doesn't go forward? There's a lot still to be left. There's still a lot left on the table to, eventually see where this goes.
Right.
I hope I've covered that the best way I can.
Yeah, you did. You did. Right now, there has been a resounding no from the community about consolidating the judicial districts from 20 to 5. And what concerns me is, although there is this pushback from the community, Florida government has a way of pushing back itself. And despite the recommendation of not moving forward with this plan, I have a feeling they're going to move forward with this plan, regardless of what the public has to say. And I say that because, first of all, it's Florida. Second of all, just the thought of bringing this to the public is exercise in just full disclosure, transparency, for a decision that they're going to make that's going to be in direct opposition to popular opinion. And I believe that this is what the governor wants. This is what the members of the Republican legislature want. And it is a means of further consolidating power under this particular Republican administration, legislature, conservative regime. And that is what I believe is going on
here. No, it sounds like you don't have that optimistic David going on right now. I think you.
No, I've been following this on the peripheral, and I've just given the actions of this particular governor and moving forward with the the Reedy Creek district that governed the area that Disney occupies, just deconstructing that and creating the Central Florida Tourism District, whatever, governing board. It just seeing just this pattern of more government intrusion, involvement. I wouldn't be surprised that the governor, the Supreme Court decides to move forward with this, despite the challenges of consolidation. You have different technologies in place, the staffing issues. You have issues with court dockets being lengthy as it is. This will be difficult for the public in general to have this consolidation, but in government, when is the public's opinion or their feelings or their beliefs ever taken into consideration?
So, David, don't you think this is I'm not as versed in it as you are. However, this would be a referendum that they have to bring to the people, wouldn't they? I mean, this wouldn't be something they could unilaterally as a legislature do, is it? I mean, what authority do we have over the judicial system at the legislature to do this? I mean, it's not like it's in
I
our
believe
constitution realignment. It's not like every 10 years you have to, draw new lines. This is something that's unique to me. So if the legislature were to move forward, would this be something that they put to the people's vote? Or is this something that just push down the throats of the Floridians?
I believe this will be just an administrative maneuver and not necessarily necessary for the voting public to approve or disapprove. This will fall under the responsibilities of the Supreme Court and the legislature and the governor. Unless there's a ballot initiative that requires that there are 20 circuit districts, I believe this is something that could be done in an administrative rule.
Cool. Well, I think we need to be looking at who's on the judiciary committees on both the Senate and the House, the Florida House, to see where they're leaning on this. Because I would assume if any legislation is to come out of this, it's going to be presented there. They have to send these down to different committees anyway. So I think it's something we can keep our eye on. I don't know. I think when somebody gives a pretty big no like that, especially come from the Supreme Court, you kind of back off it. But I guess you never know with our legislature. They are in special session right now. They have all these different things going on. So not much. I'm not much of a help here, David. I just think that when somebody says no of that authority, I think that the legislature should listen. But I'm not that type of Republican anymore, I guess.
And according to this particular news source quoted in this article that I'm referencing, the Florida Constitution does give the Florida legislature the authority to make changes in the circuit and appellate court systems based on recommendations from the Supreme Court. And for example, in 2022, lawmakers approved creating a 6th District Court of Appeals, reorganizing some appellate jurisdictions. So yes, this does not need support from the voters. This is
the key to that statement, I think you covered a recommendation from the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, I doubt, will make this recommendation over the advice of their. So I think that's kind of where it becomes dead. The Supreme Court's going to turn around and say, well, even though they said no, we're going to say, yes. I mean, that stranger things have happened, but I think that the key to that was, I think that the Supreme Court may not send that recommendation down. But this is why I'm saying we have to keep our eyes open. This is something that, now that we've had these discussions, I mean, look, we thought it was we thought it would come up again, but we kind of thought that it would have been steamrolled through, and now we find a roadblock. So, it's always interesting that we're always trying to make predictions, and this one's up in the air too.
Right. According to a 2021 rule, the Supreme Court does have a role, like you said, in making these decisions, and they must consider circuits' effectiveness, efficiency, accessibility, professionalism, and public trust and confidence before recommending the changes. So there's a criteria that they need to meet in order to move forward with this plan. And I'm sure lawyers, being lawyers, can always make a case for or against a particular issue. But again, like you said, this is something we'll keep an eye on. It's something that would greatly affect the effectiveness of our judicial system here in Florida. Final thought?
Final thought, David, thanks for bringing this up. I mean, this is why we're in the forefront of being the innovators. We're keeping an eye on these things for
Sure.
our viewers. I thank you again. This one, my opinion is they're not going to go forward. It's not going to be convenient for. It's not going to be convenient for those that have to make it to court. Makes it inaccessible. So I think the recommendation was good.
Excellent. And my final thought on this, I wish I was a little bit more optimistic about this. I've been surprised before. I've been wrong before. So hopefully that the public's comments, the judges, to the lawyers, to the average citizen, their beliefs, their values, their opinions, their feelings are taken into consideration. However, the Supreme Court has their own criteria to meet in making the final decision. I believe the final report is due this month of November 2023. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Florida legislature's review of the Supreme Court's, of this particular judicial committee's report. And keep your ears open, everyone. Watch this space. We are your political innovators, bringing you up-to-date information about what's happening in your political world. Please like, share, comment. We love to hear what you have to say. What is your opinion? Bring your facts, not necessarily your feelings, to the conversation. What is your opinion about this proposal to consolidate our courts and the pushback from the public? And where do you think the Florida Supreme Court is going to rule on this matter? Like, share, comment, hit the notification button. We're your political innovators here at Jay Washington. Thanks, Joel.
Thank you.